Hello and welcome back to Noodle Arm Productions. Today we'll be going over 5 MLB trades that need to happen before the regular season. With the start of spring training, these teams still have holes that they need to fill, and I believe these trades will get just that done. Now, with all these trades, I'm using baseballtradevalues.com. They are by far the best MLB trade simulator out there, and I will have their website in the description below. Getting us started with our first trade, I see the Yankees receiving their left fielder in Tyrone Taylor, while the Brewers will be receiving their future second baseman in Gleyber Torres. Getting us started on the Yankees side of things, the Yankees currently have a big question mark in left field, and trading for somebody such as Tyrone Taylor instantly remedies that situation. Currently, the Yankees have either Giancarlo Stanton or Aaron Hicks slated to be the starting left fielder on opening day, and I don't believe any Yankees fans really want to see that happen. Trading for Taylor would instantly bring plus defense for the left field position while also bringing a decent amount of pop with him. Tyrone Taylor, in a fourth outfielder role for the Brewers last year, hit 17 home runs, so a number that can only go up in Yankee Stadium and receiving a starting role. Not to mention, Tyrone Taylor can also play plus defense in center field if something were to happen to Bader or Bader is taking an off day. Now, looking at the Yankees infield, the Yankees kind of have an infield problem with too many people. They're going to have Volpe up soon. They already have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Josh Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo, Cabrera. Torres is the one that's most likely to get traded, just because his salary isn't as big as Josh Donaldson's or DJ LeMahieu's, and I don't think that the Yankees are ready to get rid of Volpe or Cabrera. Now, looking at the Brewers side of things, the Brewers will soon have an outfield situation on their hands. They have prospects Sal Frelick, Joey Weimer, and Jackson Chourio ready to be called up in a year or two, while also having Garrett Mitchell and Christian Yelich already up. That's 5 outfielders competing for 3 spots, and that would most definitely leave Tyrone Taylor as the odd man out. Looking to the Brewers infield, the Brewers have a decent infield, but most definitely could use some help. Currently, they have Luis Urias slated to be their second baseman. However, he is a primary third baseman and played that position mostly all year last year. The Brewers went out and signed third baseman Brian Anderson, which in my opinion is more of a bench bat, and trading for Gleyber Torres would give decent amount of pop on the infield, while also sliding Luis Urias back to his primary position of third base. Creating an infield of Urias, Adames, Torres, and Tellez would most definitely make the Brewers infield most likely the best in the NL Central, only to be competed with by the Cardinals. This trade is honestly probably one of the most even trades you could currently create with the baseball outlook of today. Both teams would be okay with what they're sending out, and what they're receiving would make both teams drastically better. Moving on to our second trade, I see the Dodgers getting some third base insurance. Looking at the Dodgers situation currently, they have Miguel Vargas slated to be the starting third baseman on opening day. While Vargas is a very highly rated prospect, in 47 plate appearances last season, he hit 170. While that is a very small sample size, that most definitely could be a very big cause for concern come the regular season, and that bat isn't ready just yet. Getting somebody like Eduardo Escobar would be a good bench bat just in general, while also his ability to slide in and play starting third base if he needs to is also there. Eduardo Escobar also plays second base, so it's not like he is just going to be a one-trick pony and only be able to play third. Looking at the Mets side of things, the Mets have an incredibly large payroll and are looking to cut in any way they can. Trading Eduardo Escobar would get his contract off their books and make Brett Baty the primary third baseman, which is already what I think the Mets are starting to do. The Dodgers don't really have a money issue at the moment, So being able to take on Eduardo Escobar's contract would not be that big of a deal. The Mets would just be receiving a low-level prospect, just anything to get that contract off the books. Moving on to our next trade, I see the Orioles finally getting the starting pitcher that they need, that they should have got this offseason, while the Marlins begin their rebuild while also bolstering their outfield. Looking at the Orioles side of things, the Orioles would be receiving Jesus Luzardo, which already was on the move earlier, I believe last season, when the Marlins traded for him from the Athletics. With Luzardo, you'd instantly get some stability in the starting rotation, a rotation that is young but also has the ability to be very, very good. Getting Luzardo instantly makes the starting rotation not dead last in the AL East. I believe this is a trade that should already happen. The Orioles need somebody desperately for their starting rotation. I think this is just the guy they should go for. Looking at the Miami Marlins, they'd be receiving Anthony Santander, who would headline the package that they are receiving. Santander would be providing a good amount of pop while also playing some decent outfield for the Marlins, something that they desperately need. They would also be receiving Armbruster as a right-handed pitcher and also Beavers for an outfielder of the future. This is honestly a trade for the Marlins that is for the future and the future alone. I don't believe that this would be a trade that the Marlins would really think that would help them today. The Marlins aren't really in a position to win currently, and I think this gives them just what they need. Moving on to the next trade, the Guardians drastically improve their outfield while the D-backs get their starting pitcher. Looking at the Guardians side of things, they'd be receiving Jake McCarthy, an outfielder that's pretty young and pretty controllable, but would immediately help the Guardians outfield. The Guardians outfield has Steven Kwan. They have Miles Straw, but getting somebody like Jake McCarthy, somebody that would be instantly starting, would be a very, 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 very welcomed addition to the Guardians. The Guardians would be sending out some pitching. The D-backs would be receiving Cal Quantrill and Logan Allen. However, I don't believe that's that big of a deal for the Guardians because they have pitching everywhere right now. That is of their least concern. They seem to just be producing pitching like nobody's business. The D-backs have an outfield situation just like the Brewers that are going to be on their hands pretty soon. They have Corral, Thomas, Gurriel, not to mention some other people that already are ready to come into the MLB. Sending somebody like Jake McCarthy out and getting some pitching would immediately help the D-backs rotation. This trade, I think, would more favor the Guardians for the moment just because Logan Allen isn't ready. However, I could easily see this trade favoring the Diamondbacks in the future if Cal Quantrill and Logan Allen both produce like they should. I also have the Guardians receiving Zach Davies from the Diamondbacks just to replace that starting pitching loss that the Guardians had. Moving on to our last and the biggest blockbuster that I think this whole trade has right now is the Pirates finally trade Reynolds and reload while the Rangers prepare for a playoff season. Reynolds has requested a trade. The Pirates aren't going to extend him. He just recently asked for, an 8-year, $134 million contract. It was below $20 million a year, and the Pirates didn't sign him. That's just a slap in the face to Reynolds. He's most definitely worth that. The Rangers would instantly pay that if that was offered on the table, and I think the Rangers have the package that the Pirates would want. Looking at the Pirates side and what they were receiving, I think this would be headlined by Sam Huff and Wyatt. Wyatt would instantly be called up and be a starting pitcher for the Pirates, and Sam Huff would instantly slide into that catching spot. Tavares would also be in the outfield replacing Reynolds, while Burke and Wynn would also be getting ready in AAA. Now, for the Rangers, it's pretty simple. Getting Reynolds would instantly bolster an outfield that has a little bit of a hole, but not too big. Getting Reynolds, sliding him into center field, makes the Rangers such a complete team in my eyes that I think it would be hard for them to miss the playoffs. Having Adolis Garcia, Brian Reynolds, Nate Lowe, Corey Seager, Marcus Simeon, having Jace Young called up soon, they're just too good to miss the playoffs in my honest opinion. They also have Jonah Heim behind the plate, one just plays stellar defense back there. Not to mention their starting pitching that they just signed. Jacob deGrom, Nate Eovaldi. They have Jonathan Gray. They got Heaney. I think getting Reynolds makes them a playoff team without a shadow of a doubt. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. What would you change about this? Are there any other trades that should happen? Are any of these trades bad trades? Is there any additions that you make to these trades? Please let me know. And thank you for watching. See you later.